What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. It's been almost 2 weeks since my last video, so I have been extremely busy. My girlfriend and I, we bought a house. We've been moving. We've been fixing it up, doing a lot of things. And after the NFL draft, I put out a couple of rookie dynasty things like that. But now things are starting to slow down. I'm going to start to get at least a video, 2 videos out, maybe 3 videos out per week. And in this one, we're going to just hang out and talk a little bit about best ball. As I record this, it's May 15th. NFL schedule's out, and it's probably out now, maybe in an hour. There's a lot of leaks going on. So we're going to talk best ball here. Coming up, I think either this weekend or sometime early next week, I'm going to basically just open up each team's depth chart, and we'll kind of just do a teaser talking through each team's depth chart and giving you guys some opinions on that. But this video specifically for best ball purposes, we'll look at the ADPs, and I'll show you guys some things on the fantasyfellowship.com. So let's go ahead and share the screen. And maybe we'll be able to make a couple picks here. I have a bunch of slow drafts going on Drafters. I'm not doing any slows on Underdog right now, but I do have a few DraftKings up as well. But I did want to talk about some best ball ADP change. Now, this is a feature you guys can check out on the fantasyfellowship.com. We're doing a membership service this season. I'm doing $10 a month, or you guys can pay $75 for a full year access. But this has everything. It also has the link to the Discord. So if you guys want the Discord link, you guys can sign up for $10 a month. This is the members only page. So to access it, there's a members only account, login, that kind of stuff. I still have some free things on here, but I'm going to be posting most of the goods here on the members content. I do have a big old dynasty rookie guide that just is a huge data study on all the guys as you're getting ready for your rookie drafts. I post my dynasty rankings, my rookie rankings. I probably have an update coming for you guys on these later in the week. Otherwise, June 1st will be my next big update. I have to update my best ball exposures this week, but we're going to look at the best ball rankings and the ADP change. So I have all these ready here for you guys. You guys can check out my rankings on best ball, but for the most part, the ADP change is the one that I updated today. And I just want to talk about who's moving up, who's moving down, that kind of things. I play an Underdog, Drafters, and DraftKings. So those are the 3 that I'm tracking. And we're going to start here with Underdog. Now, what you're looking at here is ADP that I logged on 4/30, so April 30th, and then today, May 15th. And then you're going to see the plus and minus, based on where they move up and down, and then percent change. Right now, I have this set to just ADP. You can see movers in the top 12 or so, which would be the first round of the draft. Amon-Ra St. Brown actually moves ahead of Bijan Robinson in a half PPR format Underdog. That's a little strange to me. But otherwise, everything else is pretty cemented in here. But you see Amon-Ra hop Bijan Robinson by a full pick. But McCaffrey, Lamb, Hill, Chase, that's kind of the consensus top 4. I do see some weird things happening at 5, but you got JJ, you got Amon-Ra, Bijan, Breece Hall, Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, and then Jahmyr Gibbs down here at RB4 off the board. I'm going to go ahead and hit the number change. I guess Underdog was missing some positions in some teams and things like that, so I'll figure that out. But let's scroll on down here. And this is the percent change. So Michael Mayer, of course, Raiders go out and draft Brock Bowers. That sends his ADP plummeting. And unfortunately, I had been drafting a decent amount of Michael Mayer in the early drafts on Underdog and Drafters. But now he is about pick 235, which is pretty crazy. His ADP is he's probably going to be undrafted pretty soon here. So Brock Bowers settles in around 108. He's actually on the faller list as well coming in here. I mean, his ADP says 99.5, but I was getting him in the hundreds today. So that's the big one. We're probably not going to be drafting much Michael Mayer. I will continue to buy the Brock Bowers dip, though. Braylon Allen was another one here. Number 2, he's falling a good 3 or 4 rounds. Just being drafted to a team like the Jets with Breece Hall, his only path to success is if Breece gets hurt. So he's purely just a handcuff at this point. He's not going to have a chance to be a starter. I don't know why Drake May is plummeting so much, because I think he's got a chance to play well and have a decent season. So I will continue to buy the dip on Drake May. If you don't know what's going on with Rashee Rice, you haven't checked the news lately, he's just in a lot of trouble right now, and it sounds like it's going to be a 6-game suspension. So, I mean, at one point, this man was a late second-round pick when I first started drafting, and now you can get him in the sometimes 80s and the 90s. So he continues to fall. Justin Fields continues to fall. We'll see if Russell Wilson can play well enough to keep Fields off the field. Chuba Hubbard, the big loser from the draft, with Jonathan Brooks being drafted in the second round. He's falling a good 2 rounds here. And I mean, I don't mind Chuba Hubbard at some, if I need a running back at that late in the draft, I'll add him to my team because I just, Jonathan Brooks is coming off an ACL tear. He's not going to be 100% to start the year. So maybe I get a guy that can kind of pitch in early in the year. He's not my favorite pick, but I have clicked him a couple times. Troy Franklin, man, in the early drafts, he was being drafted in the 70, 80 range, but he continues to tumble after he tumbled in the NFL draft. Being on the Broncos, attached to Bo Nix, which is fine. That's his college quarterback. So I do like that, but he is now just like a wide receiver depth piece, wide receiver 7-8 for you on your teams. Adonai Mitchell taking a big hit going to the Colts. I think it's one of those spots where you're like, yay for football, but for best ball and fantasy football, not the best spot. But I'm happy for the Colts. Talked about Brock Bowers. I'm going to continue to buy the dip on Brock Bowers. I think I want him on my team. Gardner Minshew can feed a guy like Brock Bowers. So I think continue to buy the dip on him. He's going to be round 9, round 10 soon. I'm not sure why Demario Douglas is falling that much. I think he's got an outside chance to lead the Patriots in targets this year. They did draft heavily, at the offensive position. They added Jalen Pope, Javon Baker. I like those guys a lot, but I think Demario Douglas is their slot receiver still. Romo Dunze falling a good amount, just being the third receiver on the Bears. You have a rookie quarterback throwing the ball. He's going to continue to fall throughout summer here. So I'm not buying Romo Dunze until his numbers, 70s, maybe even the 80s, and even then, I think the Romo Dunze steam's probably not happening this year. James Conner taking a big hit because of the Trey Benson draft, but hey, I get to round 8 or 9, and sometimes those receivers are just so gobbled up by that, and where I'm not minding picking James Conner. I think Trey Benson's fine, but I don't think he's a complete running back. I think James Conner is. So continue, as long as Conner's healthy, I think he's going to continue to be the lead back. Josh Downs getting a dip here, about a full round, just because adding Adonai Mitchell, more competition. That's a bummer. I did like Josh Downs quite a bit. Not quite sure why Jonnu Smith is falling here. Maybe the addition of Odell Beckham sent him falling, but he's still the starting tight end for the Dolphins. I don't think Audric Estime should be falling. I'm buying Audric Estime right now. I think Sean Payton talked him up for the Broncos the other day here, just saying that, hey, open competition at running back. And Sean Payton has always used a big back. You're talking Mark Ingram, and there's probably some other backs that I can't think of right now that he has used in a big back role. And hey, they throw to the running back so much in that Denver and New Orleans Saints style offense. So Estime, a decent sleeper. If Javonte goes down or something like that, Estime could be a huge league winner. Michael Wilson's going to operate as the number 2 receiver. I know Zay Jones is there, Greg Dortch is there, but Michael Wilson's kind of sneaky. Malik Washington, slot receiver for the Dolphins. But that's probably enough on the fallers. These guys are all still falling more than 10 picks or so. I got to figure out how to eliminate these guys from the ADP change. But let's click on the risers. And the number 1 riser is the tight end for the Commanders, Ben Sinnott. Really good tight end, and I have a ton of him over on Underdog, so I'm super excited there. I didn't get him as much on Drafters. I kind of did a Drafters session, and one, I switched to Underdog, and then I pummeled the hell out of him in the early contest. So this ADP is probably too high. I'm going to wait for him to come back down before I draft Ben Sinnott again. He's peaking right now. He's probably going to come back down to the 150s, 160s. Keon Coleman, another guy here, great landing spot with Josh Allen. He's going to compete for the number 1 lead role in targets, whether it's Dalton Kincaid or Curtis Samuel. I just got done projecting those guys. And real quick, I'm in the middle of doing my full season projections. I'm almost a third of the way through. I'm hoping to have projections out by June 1st. So give me a couple more weeks. We'll have the first iteration of projections on the website. And again, that's included in that members $10 a month. So if you guys just want to, wait for June until the projections come out, that's cool too. Otherwise, hit me up. I can give you guys a coupon code. If you're still watching this right now, I'll give you a coupon code and you guys can get a deal here, whether it's $7 a month, something like that. You can hit me up on Twitter at the fellow KGB. Just message me there or comment the video and I can email it to you. But Keon Coleman, I do like buying Keon Coleman. I don't draft him all the time, but when I do have Josh Allen on the squad, I'll reach for Keon Coleman a little bit. He's going to be a 6th, 7th round pick for all summer. Tyrone Tracy, this was an interesting guy because he was not available to draft in the early contest. And now that he's available, he's going to be competing for the number 2 duties behind Devin Singletary. I think he's an exciting young player, kind of like an Antonio Gibson was coming out. He's a former receiver converted into running back. He's got a lot of excitement and explosiveness to his game. He's also got tremendous pass catching abilities. He could be a really fun player. I had a dynasty draft the other week, and he went undrafted. So he's a guy that I think people are sleeping on a little bit too much. I like Kamani Vidal for the Chargers. He's got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins ahead of him on the depth chart, but who knows? Maybe the rookie can carve out a role there and turn some heads in Chicago and L.A. Ladd McConkey, unbelievable. He lands on the Chargers, jumps up almost 2.5 rounds from where his early ADP was. So he's probably the favorite to lead the team in targets. I know there was a viral clip of him with the mushroom helmet on and going through drills and stuff. He looked really small, but I did take Ladd McConkey, and maybe later in the video, I'm going to open it up. And I'll open up my draft for you guys and show you guys what we did. We did it in Google Sheets, so we can pull it up. But Ezekiel Elliott and McConkey, I'm buying McConkey. You know, this price, it's a little rich. I think I'd rather have Ladd McConkey than Keon Coleman, but, you know, it's a little rich, but just take him when you need to, kind of thing. Don't take him all the time. Ezekiel Elliott coming in here. He's up 25.5 spots here. I am buying Ezekiel Elliott because I think he's got a chance to just keep moving forward into that 8th, 9th round range. I know he's kind of dusty and he's not going to put up big numbers, but I still think he's going to get volume in Dallas. Ray Davis, another guy, I'm not quite sure why he's moving up so much. He did get good draft capital from Buffalo, but he's still behind James Cook. And you know, there's really no goal line touchdowns to grab there in Buffalo with Josh Allen, and just the receiving workload for James Cook. Essentially, you need a Ray Davis or you need a James Cook injury for Ray Davis to hit. So I'm kind of not sold on Ray Davis moving up this much. I am sold on Xavier Worthy moving up this much, especially if Rashee Rice misses the first 6 games of the season like we're projecting. I think there's a chance where, you know, 800 to 900 yards as a rookie, you know, 5, 6, 7 touchdowns, just a big play guy. He's a fun best ball player, not so much a redraft player. I think in redraft, he's not worth a 5th or a 6th round pick, maybe later, because I just don't think you're going to feel good starting him every week. But Worthy, definitely a guy I'm interested in. I do think Marquise Brown might be the better click right now. Jermaine Burton, he was one of my number 1 drafted players in the early draft process because I thought he was a really good receiver. And people just had, you know, personality, off the field concerns with him. But he ends up going to Cincinnati, and he's got the potential to be the future number 2 for Joe Burrow. There's already clips of him catching deep balls in practice right now. That's exciting. I think he could be a huge piece to what the Bengals are doing right away as a rookie. So I think, you know, continuing to buy Jermaine Burton, all it's going to take is a couple more camp videos for him to continue steaming up board. So I think in the 160s, I'm clicking him. I like Luke McCaffrey here, moving up 20 spots. Jaden Daniels, man, I packed my bags with Jaden Daniels. You know, in the early draft contest, now he's a fringe 9th round pick, so he's moving up. Not sure why Dameon Pierce is moving up. I thought that one was a little strange. Jonathan Brooks moving up, Odell Beckham, Demarcus Robinson, Zach Moss. But like I said, you guys can join the members page. You can just go to thefantasyfellowship.com. On the homepage, there is a button that says sign up here, become a membership, $10 a month. And again, hit me up on Twitter if you guys want like a $3 promo code. I might be able to lock you guys into $7 a month for your membership. So early birds are getting the worm today. And let's go ahead and get into that members only content again. I wanted to look at we'll touch on drafters content for a little bit here because that's my favorite place to draft is drafters. I'm a full PPR player. I like the season-long tournament. I do like the aspect of Underdog and DraftKings where it's a playoff style. That's very exciting. But I think my drafting fits best on drafters. And since you guys are here, I'm going to give you a sneak peek because you can see my exposures if you become a member. But I'll show you guys where I'm at right now with some of my top drafted players, and it's the thumbnail guy from today's video. It's Jalen Warren. He's my most drafted player. I locked him into a 95.5 ADP. His ADP's moved up considerably, almost a full half a round, 8 picks or so. So I like that. I was heavy on Jalen Wright. He went a little bit later in the draft than I thought, but hey, we got bailed out by him being drafted by the Dolphins. So I think there's some potential for him to come on late in the season. I'm big on Deontay Johnson this year. I just think it's really clear to me that he's going to lead the team in targets and be the guy that Bryce Young just really attaches himself to. I did have another hit here with Noah Fant. I got a 208 ADP on him. His ADP is 192 right now. He's just one of my favorite late round dart throws. They lost Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson, so they're just down to Noah Fant at tight end. So I'm expecting snap shares and targets and all of his numbers to increase. And hey, as your tight end 2 or 3, I think that's totally fine. Here's Jermaine Burton, like I talked about. I have 22% Jermaine Burton at about pick 200, and he's up about 40 spots. So that's a pretty big win. I like Jermaine Burton quite a bit. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. I am very heavy on Packers offense. I'm trying to get as many Packers as I can. You have Jahan Dotson here, who I'm very interested in. Jalen Waddle, one of my most drafted receivers. My most drafted QB is Anthony Richardson right now. You have Jalen Polk. I did hit on Jalen Polk pretty nice with his early draft capital for New England. I'm a huge fan of Dontavian Wicks late. And Bryce Young, man, he's just going way too cheap. I picked 200, and you can get him as your QB2. I traditionally only like to grab 2 QBs, but we're talking about Bryce Young, a guy who's got the longest leash for probably a quarterback in the NFL for his second season. And he's going to play a lot. Dave Canales is there. I think they upgraded the offensive weapons, the running backs, the tight ends, the receivers. I expect a nice sizable leap from Bryce Young in year 2 as my QB2. Curtis Samuel, look at this ADP. I got a 127.5 on Curtis. His ADP is 92. I love him. Luke Musgrave, sign me up, even though my ADP is a little bit higher. I did have a nice ADP on Trey Benson. So these are the guys that I'm finding myself draft a lot. I was drafting a lot of Jaden Daniels, Jahan Dotson stacks late, so that's pretty fun. But there you go. That's my my drafters ADP. I did just get an alert that I got a slow pick here. So let's hang out and make a slow pick here. Let's just see where I'm going. It's round 14. My quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson and Tua. My running backs, Devon Achane, James Conner, Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle. Not my favorite RB3s and 4s, but it is what it is. We do have Tyreek and Waddle and Achane stacked with Tua, so that's kind of fun. Godwin, Deontay, Curtis Samuel as our wide receivers 3, 4, and 5. Mark Andrews and Pat Freiermuth. We didn't get Mark stacked with Lamar, so that's good. And then Pat Freiermuth is in there as our tight end 2. I need running backs. I could pound Kamani Vidal here, just another dart at the running back position. We were talking about him. I think if I'm looking for running back specifically, he does excite me. I think flyers on Vidal, even Irving, Algier, Tyrone Tracy, my guy there. There's some good players available here. Ricky Pearsall intrigues me. I do need more receivers here, but I have a feeling I'm going to want to grab one of these running backs and grab a receiver on the way through. So I'll grab Vidal here to be my RB5. I might need 6 RBs in this build here because I don't know if I can bank on Achane and Connor being healthy the full season. But anyways, that was a sneak peek into the drafters content that you guys could be getting as a member of the fellowship. Let's take a peek here. The drafters ADP, now they're full PPR, so it's a little bit different here. You still have Bijan at 7, who's falling about a point, which I don't get. I absolutely love Bijan Robinson this year. The Falcons have one of the best schedules in football for this season here. So a pretty consistent top 12 to Underdog here. Now, if we click on percent change, let's scroll on down here and we'll find, or this is the pick change here. So Rashee Rice, again, minus 40 spots. Drake May, Michael Mayer, Braylon Allen, Troy Franklin, Adonai Mitchell, Chuba Hubbard. Jaleel McLaughlin's an interesting one. I'm actually buying Jaleel McLaughlin right now. Even though I like Audric Estime, I think there's a chance that, last year, I already did the Broncos projections for my stuff, but they threw the ball about 150 times to the running back. So even if Javonte Williams gets 60 or 70 targets, there's still almost 80, 90 targets left for Jaleel McLaughlin or Samaje Perine or Audric Estime. So I think taking shots on Broncos running backs is a really good idea. My pecking order for Broncos running backs is Javonte, Jaleel, Estime, probably Perine last there. If you need someone at the end of the draft, P-Ride's fine. But Kirk Cousins dipping pretty hard. I'm not quite sure why. Jonnu Smith, Demario Douglas, Trey Palmer, Michael Wilson, Brock Bowers, Luke Musgrave. Again, a lot of these similar players from Underdog falling. And I'm buying guys like James Conner, Luke Musgrave, Brock Bowers, Michael Wilson. I like a lot of the fallers right now as people are kind of overreacting, in my opinion. I do want to continue buying Marvin Mims. Traylon Burks is going to get traded. Keep buying Baker Mayfield. I think he's a good pick. Brock Purdy dipping a full round now, which is pretty crazy. Josh Jacobs dipping into the low 40s. I'll buy Josh Jacobs in the 4th round. And let's go ahead and click on the risers. Tyrone Tracy, number 1. And again, all the websites, Drafters, Underdog, I don't know if there's any other places, but they didn't have Tyrone Tracy in the early contest, which was frustrating because I was looking for him. But he's up into the 170s right now. Again, he is an exciting guy that I think has a role right away. He's going to have to beat out Eric Gray, but I think he can do that. But, as the season goes on and the Giants are evaluating QB and running back, we're going to see Tyrone Tracy at some point in 2024. Keon Coleman, Ben Sinnott, Luke McCaffrey, Kamani Vidal, Ezekiel Elliott, Bucky Irving, Dameon Pierce moving up the boards. Interesting. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe there's a blurb that I missed on that. Jermaine Burton, Ray Davis, Javon Baker. There was some really good notes on Javon Baker's first practice. He looked pretty good. And I will say, I'm going to be buying a lot of cheap Patriots stacks. Give me Drake May with, DeMario, Polk, Baker, Hunter Henry, Antonio Gibson, even Ramondre. I think there's a lot of fun, Patriots. I want Patriots and Panther stacks as like a secondary stack to my main stack that I'm setting up. So check out those guys. Let's go on down. I do have the DraftKings here. In DraftKings, I only have data from last week or so. So there's probably not too much change here. Let's just peek at it. And DraftKings is weird because, again, like a lot of their ADP stuff is still blank and missing things. But if I go to here, JJ McCarthy, biggest faller, which is weird. He was being drafted at 133. So I'm just going to say this. DraftKings ADP, give it another week. I'll have to update the numbers, but they just opened their contest last week, so things are very volatile there. But other big fall, like why is Tua falling? Raheem Mostert, their ADPs are very, very much in quicksand over there. So we'll ignore the DraftKings, but that's all there for you guys to check out. Again, you guys can sign up for $10 a month. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll give you guys a discount code that you guys can use to lock in for yourself. But rookie rankings, dynasty rankings, 2024 dynasty rookie guide, it's all there. And again, right now, I am going to be continuing to work on my season-long projections. I have them. I think I got 10 or 11 teams projected right now. So I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at. Another week or two, I'll be able to have the first round up on the board. And I'm looking around for the NFL schedules. Let me see here. NFL schedule 2024. I think it comes out in half an hour, like the official one. Because I'm looking around to see week 17 games, but I'll probably make a separate video on that tomorrow night for you guys and just go over that for best ball purposes. But I just want to touch base. It's been like 12 days since I made a video. So, but hey, we got the studio. It's very much still a work in progress with all the boxes, but I can finally breathe a little bit and continue putting out content. So for the rest of May, we'll do a week 17 best ball video so I can kind of go over those games. I will start working on my best ball cheat sheet, which focuses on weeks 15, 16, and 17 and identifies the teams that have the best stacks weeks 15, 16, and 17, because you need to win those games to get to week 17 too. So best ball cheat sheet is coming. I want to sit down and we'll get the projections live on the site. And I also want to sit down and just talk over the depth charts with everybody. So that's where we're at for now. Enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, whatever you need. And thank you guys so much for your time. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.